video team.
Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to PuckTime on WagerTalk TV. It is showtime, and it's ready to talk some puck for the last time in 2 weeks as the Olympic pause starts tomorrow for the NHL. Can't wait to watch the Olympics, but also a bit disappointed we're going to be without the NHL action. Guys, yesterday for me, we lose the 5% play, and it's tough because we hit a ton of plays yesterday on the show. The under in the Habs game, over in the Edmonton and Calgary game, Utah. A lot of games go our way, but we couldn't get the puck to go in enough times with the over 6.5 with San Jose and Colorado. Scoreless first period. That hurt us the whole time. Hard to hit an over if you get a scoreless first period. But you know what? I'd make that play 10 times out of 10 once again. The expected goal numbers were like 6-2 or 6-3. So We'll have to keep moving on, guys, but very, very frustrating. Hopefully you guys were able to make some money with some of the picks I gave out on the show and some of the player props. But that will be it, guys. I will not live in the past on this show. We've got BL and we've got DB coming on the show today. That's right, Don Buster and Brian Leonard, of course, always here with good friend Carmine Bianco. What's up, Carm?
Not much, man. Looking forward to. We got a busy show today. Buster is going to break down Ottawa and Philadelphia. He's going to talk about a 5% play that he has loaded up as well too. Brian Leonard is going to do the Florida Tampa Bay game. That is a good one. Two teams that have won 4 of the cups over the last 5 years, and they're going to be battling it out. Tampa just playing absolutely phenomenal hockey. We'll see what Brian likes in that game, and we have a baseball/hockey special for Brian as well too. You guys asked for it, we got it for you. Andrew and I will do Pittsburgh and Buffalo, LA Kings and the Vegas Golden Knights. We have a pod play. We'll see if we can hit another pod play. Minnesota Wild get it done yesterday for us in the pod play. Same game parlay for Andrew, and he's got a different version of it today, so you guys will have to hang around. And I asked for a bunch of likes and a bunch of comments on yesterday's video, and you guys left them there. I saw them all. So we have at the end of the show the debut of the Magnificent Seven, where I am going to predict the winner of all 7 games tonight. We'll see how that goes, and whether we retire the Magnificent Seven or bring it back.
Good luck with that.
With that said, listen, 2-1, a tough one yesterday. I watched that game. So many chances. At one point, Colorado had like 30 shots on goal, and just Askarov made some really good saves with it. 2-1 night for my clients. 2 best bet winners, 4% winners. The Edmonton Oilers, who I think are on my naughty list, were a 3% loser. So overall winning day, and we're going to get right back at it today. 3 plays up. And a soccer game this afternoon as well too, plus money. You can get them over on my page at WagerTalk. But with that said, let's bring them in. Double duty. It's like my eyes have barely recovered, Andrew, from yesterday, and that background that this guy has. But we have to bring him in because he is going to cover the Ottawa Senators and the Philadelphia Flyers. There he is. Look at that beautiful mug on that guy's face, man. Don Buster. How are you?
I'm good, Carmine. Well, rough night last night. I had the same game as Andrew did with that over, so that was my best play last night. That was a herder, and I didn't get it done on the show, so I'm hoping I can make up for that today. But Carmine, you would think it's been like 7 years I've had this background for the most part. You'd think you'd get used to it by now. If I don't have it up there, I have people asking me, "Hey, Buster, why isn't the Mexican blanket your background?" So it's kind of like a staple of the show.
It ruins all the rods and cones in my eyes, as Kramer would say when the Kenny Rogers Rooster red light is coming through the thing there. Yeah, but anyways, with that said, Buster, we got a long show today, and I'll have a follow-up question for you. So I want you to get to this Ottawa game right now. Lines are a little bit all over the place, but Ottawa looks like they're -130, -135. Philadelphia +114. The total sits here at, I believe, 5.5 in this one. How are you breaking this one down?
Actually, the total's sitting at 6, Carmine, and actually even 6.5 are out there. So, but we'll get to that. The two teams here going opposite directions. Ottawa has looked really good lately. They've won 4 of their last 5, and they lost their last game. But I would argue that they probably deserved a little bit better fate. I mean, they Carolina scores late, and Ottawa kind of did take it to Carolina that game. I thought they deserved a better fate. But regardless, I think tonight, though, because Reimer played that game, I'm pretty sure, now it's not confirmed the last time I looked, but Allmark should be a net for Ottawa. And the 2 games he's played well, 2-0. I think he's saved, 42 out of 45 or 40 out of 43 shots that he's faced. I think it's a big positive for Ottawa. Now, looking at Philadelphia, they did win their last game against Washington. But, the Capitals were in a really tough spot there. That was their back-to-back 3rd game in 4 nights. They actually beat Carolina, I believe, on the Saturday. So that was just a tough spot for Washington there. But if you look back, even with that win, Philadelphia are now 3-11 in their last 14 starts, their last 14 games. And they started the season well. Now, both teams are right there on the outside looking in for playoff spots. But, I just trust Ottawa a little bit more tonight, probably much more tonight. Part of the reason, I think it's the eye test. I like the way Ottawa's been playing. Even when they've been losing games, they've been playing well. And with Allmark, that might help solve those defensive woes a bit, as in he'll make some saves compared to some of the other guys that were in the net. Also, a little point, these teams have met each other already twice this season, with Ottawa winning both games. Actually, if you look back, Ottawa has kind of dominated this Philadelphia club. They've won 8 of their last 10. So I already gave out Ottawa for my clients here. I think this will be a team that you want to be looking at. Like, I'll be, during the Olympic break, breaking out teams where I'll be wanting to bet moving forward and not. I think Ottawa is one of them. So I like Ottawa here. I know we got a long show. I'm going to quickly break down the total for guys that want to play the total. Like I said, it's usually 6 right now everywhere for the most part, but there's about 3 or 4 markets that still have 6.5 under 30. So if you wanted to play it under, that might be the play to do, because it was 2-1 and 3-2 the last 2 times these guys played. Although the last 8 games, both these teams have gone 4 over, 4 under. So they can be any type on the over and under when they play. So truthfully, I really want no part of this total, but we will, and we already have played the Ottawa Senators.
Right. I like the idea of that, Buster. You look at the goalies, and, you talked about it. Obviously, Urson's injured. For the Flyers, it's going to be Vidar. He's a confirmed starter, and right now it's just expected that it's going to be Allmark. But Ottawa seems to have rallied around Allmark since those rumors came out. He was away on personal leave, and they tried to. Some guy came out with an idiotic, and I'm not sure, it could have been a Montreal fan account. Came out with a stupid, idiotic thing about players sleeping with players' wives and what have you, and he came out, put out a statement, and did an interview which aired during one of Ottawa's games, and they picked it up. And as you mentioned, they played well. I had Carolina in that game. They played absolutely great hockey in that game. Came out on the wrong end of that loss to Carolina, but they've been playing well. They're rallying around the team, and that's what you want when players rally around each other, or one player in general. That's the kind of vibe you want in the dressing room. Philly doesn't have it right now. Philly is you have Tocchet, who is everything coming out of Tocchet's mouth right now is completely negative in Philadelphia,
and that doesn't help the guys.
No, it obviously it doesn't. Buster, I want to mention, because we can't forget this. Let me get this up on the board, and I'll let you discuss this. You have a big play going on. Let me get rid of this one. Sorry, Buster. I usually have Andrew McInnis in here handling this kind of stuff, but there it is.
Oh, geez, that's even scary.
There you
to
go.
me. Wow. Yeah,
Tell us about this. What's
Okay,
going on tonight?
I'm going to go really quick with this. We don't want to have that mug up there for too long. I don't want to ruin your show here. Yeah, we have a 5% play loaded for tonight in the NHL, and as it says there, we did really well with our 5% plays. We did lose our last one, but over our last 22 games, 16-4-2 with our 5% NHL plays. We really make sure we pick our spots when we do these, like we do with all our plays. But these ones, we have certain parameters, and they made it tonight. Really like this play again tonight. So it is also a great time then to grab that special at WagerTalk, the 10-day all access, only $69. The play's up for $35 now. You can grab that all access pass for 10 days, and you'll get all our Super Bowl plays, our college basketball, and the Olympic plays that we'll be doing during the Olympic break here. So head on over to WagerTalk.com and grab that package there and grab that play.
Awesome, Buster. No better way than to head into the Olympic break with a 5% winner or a good winning night overall because they're just one play. But when you have a series of plays, you want to win them all. I think that's, I talk about it all the time. If you have 3-4% plays and 1-5% play, but you win the 3-4%, you lose the 5, You're pissed off. But you shouldn't be because you gain 7 units of profit for your clients. It is not a blue pill, but it is a select game that you like. And I wish you the best of luck on it, man.
Thanks, Carmine. I appreciate that.
No problem, man. Go enjoy the weather while Andrew and I freeze our asses off here north of the border.
Buster, let me know about Olympic stuff. Anything you want to do with my show or any type of stuff, I'm happy. I know
I'll come on after a week, Andrew. Once we see some games in, I'll come on and we'll try to do a show at a time where guys can watch. And maybe I'll even do a couple, depending on how things work out. We'll definitely do one or maybe 2 shows moving forward for sure. So we'll be in touch, brother. And again, best of luck to everybody. Best of luck with the Super Bowl, big weekend, and have a great day, guys.
See you,
brother. Take care,
brother.
Buster. Andrew, before we get into bringing in Brian Leonard to do the Florida-Tampa Bay game, Artemi Panarin. Man, I was kind of hoping he would go to Boston, not because I thought he was a perfect fit, because then I could use all these damn AI graphics, ChatGPT to do like a bread and pasta image or whatever with Pasternak and Panarin. But apparently Panarin told the Rangers, there's only one team I'm going to play for that I will go to, and it was the LA Kings. There was rumors that Seattle was in the running, but Panarin said only one team and one team only. Is that going to become a talking point for other players before the trade deadline in March?
I think that especially for the case like Panarin, he had them. I don't want to say the wrong thing here, Carm, but he gave them no choice. We'll put it that way, right? And the thing is that they want to make a trade. That the player they got for him, I believe he was the captain of the Windsor Spitfires team in the OHL. Good player, and then you get a 3rd-round pick. Because the thing is, how much did the Maple Leafs get for Mitch Marner? Nothing. Right? So that's the thing, is that people don't realize is that people are going to say, oh my God, this is all that you got for Artemi Panarin. But a lot of it is about the money. And a lot of it is about kind of just getting them off the books and getting anything you possibly can, because they've already said to Artemi Panarin, hey, we're not going to sign you back next year. So that's what the problem is too. It makes it a little more difficult when they pretty much tell a guy, hey, we're not going to sign you back, because then they get to kind of pick where they want to go, right? So it is a bit interesting like that.
One other thing I want to mention before Brian gets here, and Hal, just relax. TJ said he bought a 5% play. That's good enough. Do you need him to reaffirm it? I don't think you do. Anyways, Andrew, the stuff going on with Gavin McKenna. I think everyone's seen it on social media. He was arrested by the Pennsylvania police after the big game in Penn State. Everyone just getting on this guy. There's two sides to every story, and this isn't you're guilty until proven innocent. It should be the other way around. So from people who were there, okay, not rumors after the fact, from people who were there, they're stating that a bunch of the players and their moms and their parents went out after the game, and some idiot who may or may not have been drunk was harassing Gavin McKenna's mom, and they asked to stop, and this guy kept at it, aggressively bugging her. He knocked him out cold. Good for him. I would do the exact same thing. Which one of you guys in chat would not do the same thing if some guy is harassing your mom? So with that said, there's two sides.
If those rumors are true, my only comment is you can't beat the crap out of somebody, but sometimes you gotta get humbled if you're talking smack to somebody. Just sucks because athletes, the end of the day is that, it's tough because you're going to get people saying stuff to you your whole life. But then again, you talk about family, it's a bit different. But you know what, really, since you brought it up, Carm, I got to say that the thing that really, really pisses me off about all of this is that before we really know anything about the story, everybody all of a sudden becomes a lawyer. Everybody all of a sudden has a law degree. Everybody all of a sudden knows what the future, like, if anybody thinks this guy is doing 20 years in prison, I have an oceanfront property to sell you where Brian Leonard lives, because that is not happening. This guy is not going to prison for what happened. I'm sorry. But anyway, should he have done what he did? No. If the reasons for why it happened are why it happened, then Carm, sometimes you get what's coming to you.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're going to move on, but if anybody wants to know where Brian Leonard lives, I'll have it in my write-up for one of my games on tonight's card. Let's bring him in there.
One of your paid plays that you can get.
You live on a lake, don't you, Brian? You live on a lake. You live on a lake in Vegas.
They do have. They do get some ponds. Yeah. We're not Minnesota. We're not the LA Lakers. Remember that when they moved?
There's a pond in Vegas. I will find it when I'm golfing, 100%. Because my drives, I think my drives all end up in the water. It's if someone needs to invent a floating golf ball, I would buy that shit like it was. Like it was going out of style, man. Just give it to me, man. Brian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. And good to be back on the show. It's been an exciting week, and we'll see how it goes today. I know Buster has that big play going today, but it's tough. We talked about that, the last couple of days. It's tough to handicap these games, and that's why I wanted to talk about this game with Florida and Tampa Bay, and I'll get right into it. This is the most hated rivalry in the NHL. Takes place tonight, and literally, if you like to watch a slugfest, this is the place to do it, because these two teams, even going back to the preseason, they were getting in fights all the time. They hate each other, and it's strange that they scheduled this game, the last game before the Olympics, which gives us a totally different way to possibly handicap this game and get some advantage in it. These two have been involved in very physical contests, plenty of penalty minutes in those games. And if you enjoy the traditional NHL play, you want to watch this game. My wife and I always make it a habit of watching this contest. With the Olympic break on deck, it's going to be interesting how this one works out from the previous meetings. Many of the star players are preparing for the gold medal, and we'll be doing all that coming up. So I got to ask, is this going to be the same physical game we normally see out of Florida and Tampa Bay? It's an extremely important game for the visitor, currently 6th and 12th place in the conference, 6 points out of the playoffs, with many teams to surpass. So they're going to come to play in this one. And they better, because the Lightning are on an 18-2 run and are now tied for first place with the Hurricanes in the conference standings. Florida broke a 4-game losing streak with a 5-4 shutout win last night, hosting the Bruins, and playing their third game in 4 days. So back-to-back after overtime, third game in 4 days. The previous encounters between these two have produced 4, 6, and 7 goals, as both teams are very good on the penalty kill. And they had a lot of penalties to kill in those games. But we expect this game to be played a little bit more wide open. Obviously, Florida needs to win, but we're looking at a game. Vasilevsky's obviously in goal for the Lightning, and he's a great goalie. But I expect this to be more of an open ice game because of that. We've talked about that the last couple of days. We talked about the game yesterday. The Edmonton game goes off at 7. A lot of high-scoring games for the teams playing their last games. And I expect that a lot tonight. Teams getting involved more offensively. You know how it is. Before you go on vacation, you want to get out there and score, build up your stats. So I like for this game to go over, and which is a change from basically what the line has opened at. It opened 6.5 to the under. I'm seeing, like Chris, one of the biggest offshore sports books out there now, in down to 6, and you can get less than minus 110 on the over. I expect all of them to continue doing that, which gives us a nice advantage on the over. We only score 5 here to lose. We got to score 6 or more to get the push or the win. That's the way I'm looking at this one, because the other games were played totally differently than the way I think this one's going to play. All the star players from these two teams will not want to get injured in this one. So I think the fighting should be a little bit less, and which opens up the ice. Because if you watch the other games, I mean, these two teams know each other very well. They play very tight defense on each other. They know the plays. This is going to be an interesting handicap in this one. And while everybody thinks it's going under based on how well they do in the penalty kill, I just think this is going to be a different played game. And I'm going to take advantage of that. This is the only game I'm really interested in on today's card. With the trade deadline, we talked about this before with the NBA and hockey coming to an end here with the trade deadline. It's hard to give out plays. So I'm probably going to pass overall. But this was my free play today, and I wanted to give it out on the show.
It's so interesting, Brian, because, like Nick Suzuki, I watch all the Habs games. Yesterday, the commentators were even saying, like, look, this is a guy that holds an Iron Man streak. He hasn't missed a game in his whole career. And as respectfully as they could say it about him, they could tell he was giving it a little bit less gas yesterday, staying out of harm's way, staying out of trouble a little bit. And you've seen even, unfortunately, the game that I had the over in for my big play, like McInnis still got 2 points, but he didn't look like the dog, as they call him for his nickname. He didn't have that same juice with him. But the funny thing is, to your point, you can look at it from a defensive standpoint, or you can look at it from an offensive standpoint, but you just got to hope there's not going to be a ton of dirtiness between these two teams. And it's not like it's the middle of November, or it's, even March. It's the day before the Olympics for some of these guys, or the day before you're on a beach in Mexico. So it is going to be interesting to see what this day brings, especially for these two teams. Do they go out with a bang, and do we see an all-out brawl again, or do we see a little bit more of relaxed hockey?
Yeah, if they fight, we get more penalty shots. So it's a good play on the over here, I believe.
Yeah, Brian, the one thing, like heading into this one, are just some of the narratives going into the game. And Andrew's talking about it, guys not wanting to get injured before obviously the Olympic break. How they're, is a guy gonna defenseman or a forward get in front of a 87 mile per hour slap shot from the point? Is he going to turn his ankle in or what have you? But it's some of the other stuff. Matthew Tkachuk saying after the Sabres game and the next day, when they asked him about how Florida's playing and the game against Buffalo, and he comes out with the line, which kind of surprised me. He goes, the Sabres just are playing much better and have better talent than we have right now. And that's a surprise that a leader of a team would say this other team is better than us and they have more talent. Maybe at that certain period, that is true. But I think going into the season, if you said who has more talent on their team, the Sabres or the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. If I said it was the Sabres, people would have me committed into an institution. That's number one. But I want to talk goalies because you're talking about totals, and it looks like it's not going to be Bobrovsky tonight. It's going to be Tarasov in goal for them. Daniil's been pretty good. Other than the 5 goals that he allowed against the St. Louis in that 5-4 loss, he allowed a goal in the previous game, a goal in the game before that, 2, and then 1 and 3. So he's allowed 3 or fewer goals in 5 of his last 6 starts. Obviously, the last one was a bad one for him and for the Florida team in general. But he had won 4 straight starts while allowing a total of 5 goals. Is this just one of those ones where Tampa Bay is playing extremely well and you just don't want to get in front of a train?
Yeah, well, I thought about playing Florida plus the 1.5 here and laying a little bit of juice. I kind of like that also. You got to think Tampa Bay is, is, to use Marco's line, fat and sassy or whatever. 18-2 run. They've beaten Florida 2 out of the 3 times they played today. But the road team is done pretty well in these games. But it's hard to handicap. I just think a lot of people are just looking at what has happened in the past and expects it to be that way. I think, like you said, it's the goal. We'll see it in the Knights game tonight. They played yesterday. They'll play again tonight. And yesterday they got a little bit of offense. I would expect that game to go over too. It's just an opinion. But they got Aiden Hill in goal, and he's not been good. But they got the monkey out their back yesterday. We'll see how it goes. Second of a back-to-back. These are 2 very good teams. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes under, but I just think this is going to be played a little bit differently.
Brian, my graphics guy absolutely loves you. I think I made you like at least 5 years younger in this picture that we have up on the screen. We had to put this together because people asked yesterday, and they've asked about this over the last week or so. Baseball season is right around the corner. Literally, the Blue Jays play their first game in 16 days on the 21st, their first spring training game or what have you. You knock it out of the ballpark, pun intended, each and every baseball season. And the powers that be in the office put together a great deal. Rest of the NHL season, this season, plus the NHL playoffs right through the Cup Finals when the Sabres beat the Dallas Stars. Revenge for that Brett Hall skate in there. Yes, the Sabres are winning the Cup this year. And they get the full season of MLB. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success in Major League Baseball and part of the 3-team show here at WagerTalk with Tokyo Brand and Adam Trigger. We all love baseball, and I see Brandon's already putting up his season wins and that kind of thing already. I will be working on that until the NHL comes back because I don't do anything with the Olympics. I'm not an expert in the Olympics. You guys are. So I'm going to use all that time to work on baseball. And I've already started working on baseball. Been doing it for the last 2 weeks. Normally I go to spring training. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it this year. Just got so much going on. But I have been going into last year. I was number 1 all time in Major League Baseball net profit. I need to go back and check if that is continued. But the last 2 years, 2 very good profitable seasons. Keep in mind, don't pay much attention to win percentage because I give out a lot of underdogs. It's sort of like my hockey, if you follow my hockey. But last year up 36.34 units. The year before 41.82. If you take a look at my 5% during that time, up 32.65 units on our 5% baseball plays. Baseball is my bread and butter. Baseball and hockey have been very good. I love these money line sports. I love playing underdogs. And we are already tuned in for the season. And if you buy the season, not only will you get the early bird discount, but you will get the entire season and you will get the rest of our hockey season. And we've done very well in hockey coming into this year, number 1 overall the entire time I've been doing hockey on the site, the last 8 years, whatever, when WagerTalk's been there. So it's been my 2 best sports, and you get the rest of it for free. $6.98 is the regular promo, but we're going to give you hockey for free for the rest of this season. It's a great deal. You can pick that up right now. Just want to let you know, like I said, I will not be having any hockey until hockey comes back again. But great time to buy. Price is going to go up, I believe, at the end of the month. So get on that now and make sure you lock it in for the baseball season.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm looking forward to it. And to your point of whether you're number one last year or whether you're number two last year or whether you're number three last year, I find that it doesn't matter. If you were profitable, that's all that matters. You're competing against yourself from the previous year and to have a good year. So when someone says to me, Carm, you're like number 3 in soccer. I'm like, okay, we're making money, but I'm happy for the guys who are in first and second because that means that their clients at WagerTalk are also making money. So at the end of the day, I just compete against myself. Andrew knows that, and he does the same as well.
What do you mean? I'm 1-0 since I had my last coffee. Every time I have a coffee at 9 a.m., I win a bet.
Give him a coffee, damn it.
I'm 5-0 since I had my last walk with my dog. Are you kidding me? I love these streaks you see on social media with all the cappers. I'm 6-0 when I wear a blue button-up shirt. So you guys better get ready for tonight. You better get.
Is that even blue? I can't even see. Is that blue? Or it's just it's like light sky blue. It's like some clouds coming into Narnia. There, Brian. Anything up for today across all sports?
Yeah, I passed in the NBA. I talked about it. There's too many trades going on. You don't know who's going to play. We're doing really well in it too, so that's a shame. But passed in hockey today. Our best play is this. I also kind of like the night's game over. I do have a nice basketball play. We're on the 14-6 run overall and 12-5 in college basketball. It's been a nice season. You talked about the short terms. I don't usually like to talk in the short terms, but when you tell somebody you've been number one for 7 or 8 years, they don't care. They want to know what you've done today. But then on the other hand, the people who buy the long-term packages want people that have been really good for a long time. So I try to balance it out a little bit and keep the short term and the long term there for you. But we got a nice college basketball play today. A 3% play is one of our bigger plays that we've had this college basketball season. And like I said, on 14-6 overall, 12-5 run, that's up there now. But I'm really concentrating. If you're going to get this baseball hockey package, make sure you do get that before the end of the month.
All right. Best of luck to you guys. I was going to say grab Brian's package, but his wife might not like me saying that. Grab his MLB package, get the rest of the NHL season for free. You won't be disappointed. We did this last year around this time, and a bunch of you jumped on board, and you finished off with money in your wallets, which is always a good thing. More money than you started with, let's put it that way. So my buddy has a phrase, Brian. I'll just make this real quick because Andrew and I have a lot to cover still. My buddy's like, I can go to the casino and turn 1,000 into 100 and no problem, right? So I don't think he's ever won at the casino. The only machine that ever gives him money is the ATM, and even that one there's a fee.
Maybe he needs to drink some more coffee, right, Andrew?
Exactly. Only at 8 a.m. though, only at certain times. But Brian, I'm going to throw this back to you, and I know that your show with Trig and Brandon, that's your guys' unique show, but I'd love to do some content with you as well in MLB sometime. I know that that's your guys' 3-man roster. I get it. But, hey, I want to get in the mix as well. I think we had 30 people last year, MLB. I was number 9, So, I want to get some love on the MLB stuff too. So I'd love to talk with you. I do mostly first fives, stuff like that, team totals and things, but would love to work with you as well if you're free.
I'd love to do that. And speaking of coffee, we do the show because Brandon is in Tokyo, obviously, and Trig is, I think, in Jersey. So we've got weird times. So Brandon does it at 10 p.m. his time. I have to do it at 6 a.m. my time. So really at 6 a.m. I give you what's best at that time, but I usually put up my plays afterwards. So if you think, well, I'll just watch the show every day and get Brian's plays, well, unfortunately, that doesn't work in the baseball because by the time I get around to doing my plays, I could have changed my mind and line changes and all that. So Yeah, that's why you got to buy the package for the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all the numerous outfits that Tokyo Brandon will be wearing in this year's episodes of Total Bases. Bri, best of luck tonight, and good luck with the baseball season. If I don't talk to you before first pitch,
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, and you guys have a great couple of weeks.
Right, Go Canada! Go Canada! See you, Brian.
I'm rooting for Canada. I'm rooting for Canada. The way the United States has treated them, I got to tell you. All right, take care.
All right, see you, brother.
Andrew,
I love to hear that, Carm. I love to hear that out of Brian. Jeez, he's cheering for us.
Let's jump right in to the future Stanley Cup champions, the Buffalo Sabres at home. When I say future, I didn't say this year. It could happen any year, Andrew. The Sabres, -130 at home. Pittsburgh Penguins, +110. Total sits here at 6.5. How are you playing this one?
Yeah, I like the way you ended that. We have no clue which year that's going to be. It just might be coming up soon. I'll tell you what, anybody that grabbed Tampa Bay right now is probably feeling pretty good right now. But yeah, looking at this one here, this is one of those numbers here where I think that Buffalo has been relying on goaltending, which I feel crazy for saying that. Like, I never thought in my whole life would I ever say that Buffalo has been relying on goaltending a little bit here, Carm. Alex Lyon, save percentage, 9.36, just stealing games in certain metrics, looking across the board, a couple last games he's played. He's been the guy. And I think overall, with the high danger chances this Pittsburgh team produces, it's going to be a shooting gallery. You could look towards the save prop over for Alex Lyon. But I'm going to look towards goals here for this Pittsburgh Penguins team. I think they come out on top in this one. And I understand that, for some teams like your Buffalo Sabres, they want to go into the break on a good note. But I think for guys like Sidney Crosby going to the Olympics, they want to go to the Olympics on a good note. So I'm hopeful this Penguins team can have a good showing here. But based on the stuff that I've looked at, and Carm, I don't think we've said this in the 6 years we've been doing shows together. The Buffalo Sabres are actually getting some pretty good goaltending. Based on the numbers that I've looked at. I just don't know if it'll be enough for today.
Yeah, no, I get it, Andrew. As far as that goes, I think we see some scoring. I think it's tough to look past a team that is 23-4-2, their last 29 games, dating back to when they fired their GM. This team has just been on a phenomenal run. You don't win 23 of 29 games without being a team that is playing well together, no injuries to the team. I just like the way they're playing. And recently, the goaltending has taken a step back, but the scoring has increased for the Sabres. The first period over here, if you look at the last 10 games, Pittsburgh's gone over the first period total in 7 of 10. The Sabres at home, 6 of 10. The numbers do lean to a play on the total, but I think the first period total, I think we see some goals early on in this one, and it also being the final game before the Olympic break. So that's where I'm looking at in this one. I would go over 1.5 in this game for the first half total.
I think that this game probably could be a roll it out and have some pond hockey feel to it. Do you think that there are certain teams more than others that are going to show up tonight? Like, what about the fringe playoff teams, like what Brian was talking about with Tampa Bay? Like Tampa Bay, if they lose they lose tonight, doesn't matter. They're still first place in the division. But I think for teams like Pittsburgh and teams like Buffalo, every single win matters for them at this point. So do you think that the coaches are a little bit tougher on them than maybe a Colorado coach or a Tampa Bay coach would be?
It's, I think the coaching staffs and I think the leaders of the team, not so much the fringe ones, but the ones that are pushing to make the playoffs, the ones who are in playoff spots or just a few points out. I think you have to stress the importance of these games. We can easily say, well, it's the final game before the Olympic break. These teams are just going to play a lot of open ice hockey. There's going to be a lot of goals scored. But I don't think that's not the mentality. That's sort of the square way of looking at it, not to insult anybody, because I will throw out those square plays every once in a while and let you know why I'm doing it. But this is one in which the points are important to both of these teams. It's important to the Sabres to keep that phenomenal run going right into the break. And also for teams like Pittsburgh, who are having a very good season and have gone from projected to be sellers at the trade deadline to possible buyers at the trade deadline. So those are the games of importance. It's kind of like the Ottawa game, important game for Ottawa, making a push. You look at Columbus, who have won, 8 of 9 or something like that since that coaching change, Andrew, in the bump.
Crazy.
And they're still not in a playoff spot. But the importance of 2 points is great here because at the end of the season, when you look at the last two, last year, the year before that, teams that missed out on the playoffs by 1 or 2 points, the Buffalo Sabres, finishing with 91 points and missing out on the playoffs by, I think, a point. And then regulation wins, which comes into it as well, too, as a big tiebreaker. The Washington Capitals. You look at the Penguins in the role that they win on last year, where everyone thought they were dead in the water. And then what did they win? Like 17 of 22 games or something like that? Just an insane number of games. So I don't think these teams are taking the night off. I think that's a game of importance. But I do think that we'll likely see some scoring in this one.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we do. But like I said, this Buffalo team's been so hard to read, man. This Buffalo team, well, not hard to read with their success, but even when my websites tell me that, hey, look, there might be some regression coming for this team, Alex Lyon starts doing cartwheels in the net and standing on his head for you guys. So we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, the save props don't typically come out until later on in the afternoon. A lot of you guys have been happy with the player props the past 2 weeks. I do think you could look towards a save prop. And I'll make it clear, Carm, if you don't want the save prop, people can bet shot props for Pittsburgh. But I do think there's going to be some chances, for Pittsburgh to have some offensive zone time, I guess we'll say, against this team.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so too. Like I said, if you look at some of the Sabres totals over the last 10 to 12 days during this run, and at the early parts of this run, they're winning a lot of 3-1 and 4-1 games. Now they're winning a lot of like 5-3, 5-2 type of games as well too. For them to go down to Florida and beat the Florida Panthers, a team that during this run handed the Sabres a loss, I think, in Buffalo, and then play the Tampa Bay Lightning the very next night, and only a goal in the last like 30 seconds of that game for Tampa to tie it up, or they leave Florida with 4 points instead of 3. And that was the mom's trip for the Sabres as well too. It started with a loss, the mom's trip against the Montreal Canadiens at home, and then they went to Florida. The moms followed them there, and they had a great time in Florida. It was a little chilly from what I hear, but nonetheless, they picked up 3 points there. So them going 1-1-1 and picking up 3 of a possible 6 points, I think, in the grand scheme of things, is probably a success for the Sabres, and I think it harps well on them. And I think this is an important game for them as well too. It's Andrew. It's the guys you don't expect that are contributing, but guys like Rasmus Dahlin are scoring. Tage Thompson is having a fantastic time. But like Samuelson, a guy who doesn't really score much, and the guy's got like 5, 6, or 7 goals. What have you? It's Alex Tuck who hits the 20-goal mark yet again. They're getting contributions from players. Benson, when he's on the ice, he's playing the role of like the rat, where he gets in there and just gets under your skin. So credit to Lindsey Ruff, who has them playing some very good hockey. And you might want to look at the Lindy. I call him Lindy. Kind of look at the Lindy Ruff Jack Adams Award prices, Andrew.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he is, but if someone can find out what the Jack Adams Trophy price is on Lindy Ruff to win Coach of the Year, because he has completely flipped this team around.
I agree.
So
and Carm, I got to come in with that, because it's like a lot of these awards, they always confuse me every year, because like, do you notice how a lot of the time the Jack Adams winner just goes to the team that played the best? Like if you had, Nathan McKinnon on your team, or if you have Connor McDavid on your team, then it might be a little bit easier for you to have a good record. And I'm not saying you don't deserve it, but a lot of people think it's Jared Bednar's award to lose. But, if you look at some teams, like look at the general manager of the year award. I can't remember what that one's called. But to me, the GM of the year award doesn't have to go even to a team that made the playoffs.
Yeah.
It could go to a team that's made the right moves, or maybe a team that got knocked out in the first round. But if you notice, the GM of the year award always goes to like the Vegas GM that traded away all his assets, but then ended up making the Western Conference final or something like that. Like, and one thing I'll throw to you, I was listening to a podcast talking about this. Should there be a defensive defenseman award and offensive defenseman award? Because obviously Cale Makar is a great defensive defenseman too. Same thing for Werenski, same thing for Quinn Hughes. But think about like your Victor Hedmans of the world and like those shutdown guys, like Shea Weber. Remember a guy like Shea Weber? He wasn't necessarily known for all of his offense. He scored goals, but he was a good old-fashioned shutdown guy. What do you think about that idea? There being a defensive defenseman of the year award and offensive defenseman of the year.
Yeah, it's kind of like the NFL, Andrew. They come up with so many awards at the end. You don't know if you're coming or going. I kind of like it the way it is. It's the traditional way. We just sort of keep it that way. And just a quick update, because while you were talking, I looked at DK. Lindy Ruff is currently plus 195 in the favorite to win the Jack Adams. John Cooper plus 215. This is at DraftKings. And Jared Bednar is plus 300. After that, Dan Muse at plus 1100 for the job that he is doing right now with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So if the Sabres make the playoffs, I say Lindy Ruff wins it. I'm going to play that right after this show is over. But we got to make sure this show gets over. So let's get going. Andrew, LA Kings, Vegas Golden Knights. The Knights 133. The Knights 133. The Kings plus 109. Total sits here at 6. Where are you going with this one?
Well, how bad have the Vegas Golden Knights been, Carm? Like, this team overall has not been showing us anything good as of late. Congratulations to them. They beat the Vancouver Canucks. Everybody beats the Vancouver Canucks, it seems like, and everybody can put up a good effort against the Vancouver Canucks. They've had a condensed and compact schedule as of late here. We'll switch that around to get that there. And when you look at this game, though, Carm, the LA Kings, to me, are a team that just signed a big name, Artemi Panarin. They should be feeling pretty good about themselves. But they had the Seattle Kraken in the second half of back-to-back situation, and the Seattle Kraken were able to make them look foolish, and they beat them 4-2, and it was the LA Kings playing on home ice. So the question here you really ask yourself is, which team's going to care more about this game? Which team's going to show up more in this game? And this, to me, has the feel of a boring hockey game. This is a 5.5, and I'm going to take the under here. You got a lot of Olympians across, these rosters here a little bit. And I think this is going to be hey, let's go out there and roll the puck out. And let's look forward to when that final buzzer goes, because I understand the premise of what Brian was saying earlier in the show. There's certain instances where that can help you hit an over, but there's also certain instances where, you need that urgency and that net crashing and that type of stuff, Yesterday for my 5% play, like a ton of chances, but not a lot of guys crashing the net and trying to score those greasy goals. And that didn't really help me out very much. I can't see that happening in this one. So I've said it to you before. I used to think that back-to-backs were automatic overs, but I've changed my mind a little bit on them. I don't think this one back-to-back that necessarily means we get an over. What do you think?
Yes and no. It's one, me. It's one, Andrew, where I'm more. I think I'm more sort of locked into the side in this one, but I could see goals in this one because I think the Kings, when they went into Vegas, that was very early in the year. And I thought it was a good spot for the Kings back then, and they went in and they won that game 6-5 in OT. The Kings are just playing much better hockey. Their splits are much better on the road. And you got the Vegas Golden Knights. They got the win yesterday. They needed it, but they played it against a Vancouver team that they're not just ready for. They weren't just ready for the Olympic break. They're ready for the season to end. And I still think they're going to sell off some pieces. The Vancouver team. And I talked about on yesterday's show that they're probably going to be plus 200 a lot of times throughout the year. So you're going to have to find the rest of the season. You're going to have to find spots and how you bet against them, because laying a huge vig isn't usually the way to go. This is one where, like, the Kings have won 3 of the last 4 games they've played in Vegas, 4 or 5 if you include a preseason game. I don't include preseason, obviously. Those games are unimportant. But 3 of the last 4 in Vegas, including the one game this season, they're playing well. Panarin's not playing. That trade just got made yesterday, but it's a game in which it's an important one for the Kings coming off a loss. Vegas is coming off a win, a much needed win for them. But that Pacific division is completely up for grabs. If you look at that division, a couple wins by the Kings, including one tonight, and a couple losses by the Vegas Golden Knights, and these teams could end up flip-flopping. The Knights they have a tough second half schedule, or a tough final 20 games of the season. They need the wins, but I like the Kings in this spot. I just like the way they play on the road, and I've been banking on them and taking client plays on them on the road, not so much at home. So until they can sort of change that around, I like the plus 120, and some money has come in on the Kings in this spot as well too. So we'll see what happens with this one, but I'm all for the Kings in this one, Andrew.
I don't blame you at all, Carm. I don't blame you at all. Like, this Vegas team hasn't really done enough. The only thing is I would look at is, like, are they going to be able to build off a win against the Vancouver Canucks? Maybe after how shitty they've been, they can get some tips from your friend Momentum, and then maybe they can move on to today and keep that going. But other than that, I think the value does stand with the dog here.
Yeah, I think so as well, Andrew. It's one of those ones where they could play this game in Vegas, given their current form. They could play this game 10 times, and I believe that the Kings win it 5 of them. They split. So taking plus money in that spot makes absolute sense instead of laying vig. The Golden Knights,
one of those fat and sassy
the Golden
things.
Knights, I think, have a losing record at home. Do they not?
Yeah.
If memory serves me correct, they have a losing record at home. They're not the fortress like they used to be. I've gone to 6 or 7 Golden Knights games when I'm in Vegas, and the Golden Knights have won every single game. There's the problem. I am not there to fuel this team to win. So with that said, I might have to put on my old school LA Kings jersey from the Marcel Dion era with the crown and the purple and the gold, and watch this game late at night.
This is going to be one of those games that we're going to find out who, like, I think we're going to know early on who's the most mad team. And I think, one thing that we can really think about, and it's not the whole fat and sassy thing, but it's one team is fresh off a loss, one team's fresh off a win. They're both playing back-to-backs. Which team do you think cares more about tonight? Which team cares
and I believe,
most, right?
And if memory serves me correct, without looking at it, Andrew, it's not just back-to-back. I think this is like the 4th game in 6 nights for these teams. I could be wrong, but I warned the January schedule would be a crazy one for teams, and bleeding into February as well too, because teams are being put in positions in which they haven't been put in the last few seasons, which is playing a lot of back-to-backs, a lot of 3 and 4 nights, a lot of 4 and 6 nights, or 5 and 8. It really skews some of the score lines. It skews some of the spreads, some of the over/under totals. So you have to take into account those ones. And it's why when you go back to analytics and you look at expected goals, That's a better barometer, I think, of seeing how a team is performing over that stretch when they might not be showing the results on the ice. They're still showing it from an analytics point of view. Andrew, before we get to your new feature, which I really like, I am going to mention, I'm going to go through the pod real quickly. So why don't we fire up the pod so I can get this one done. So the pod play we hit yesterday with the Minnesota Wild that get the victory. And whether my games go to OT or not, I don't mind as long as they win. I am taking the Ottawa Senators here, minus 125. The line's gone up a little bit since the overnight line came out and when I played it, which was last night. I just think this Ottawa team is starting to rally together. They have that good guy Mo on their bench, momentum. They're moving forward even off that loss against Carolina. And you look at the Flyers. The Flyers, everything coming out of there is just bad mojo right now. This is a team that's going to be a seller. This is a team that is ready for the break and ready for the season to end. The Flyers aren't making the playoffs. The Ottawa Senators have a shot to make the playoffs. And I'm going to go with the better team here, minus 125. That is your pod play.
The Ottawa Senators, Carm, I like them too. I'll tell you, I said this. It's really tough because they're playing better hockey as players, but their goaltending has let them down big time. And I've said it multiple times on the show. I'm not the guy to go after goaltending, but this team has really, really hurt themselves. Whether it's been James Reimer or Allmark or Merlainen, whoever it's hurt them quite a bit. So if they can get average to mediocre goaltending, and we saw yesterday night, Leon Draisaitl taking shots at his goalie and taking shots at his coaches. It's like, hey, look, buddy, Stuart Skinner's doing well without you guys. Maybe it wasn't the goalie all along. Maybe it was you guys. Carm, before we get to my player props, I just wanted to bring something up. We are a hockey show. We're a sports betting show, but you and I love hockey, and we follow the hockey news. I just wanted to mention and just bring this up here for the tragedy that happened in Western Canada. I think it was just absolutely awful for the Southern Alberta Mustangs. A tragic motor vehicle accident. 3 young kids, JJ Wright, Cameron Casorso, and Caden Fine, way too young to go. And these 3 young kids will be missed in the hockey community. So a lot of people are rallying around this team, and it's super sad to see. Western hockey, Southern Alberta Mustangs, these 3 kids. So I thought it was important to bring that up because, we all love the game and we love talking about the games we're watching and different things, but these are just 3 kids that love the game as well. And, you're traveling to a game and this happens. So we always mention the fun stuff, but I feel like it was important if we're hockey supporters to mention rest in peace to these 3 young men. So wanted to mention that. And, we're thinking about those friends and family for them. I've got player props here for us today, Carm, and this is what I decided to do, brother. I decided to just have one player prop for every single game. Here we go. And yeah, man, we're on a pretty good run. Shout out to Lorenzo. I love that nickname, Mick Props. I'll take that. I've been called worse. Mick Props. Look, 8-1 run with the player props. 8-1 run. Philip Forsberg, plus 180 anytime goal. Ricard Raquel, plus 195 anytime goal. Claude Giroux, plus 120 anytime point. Seth Jarvis, plus 155 anytime goal against the Rangers. We've got Matt Barzal, plus 100 even money. Anytime assist against the New Jersey Devils. How about Jake Gensel? We'll take him for the Tampa Bay Lightning, plus 135 against the Panthers. And Ivan Barbashev, plus 340 anytime goal against the LA Kings. So look forward to a great one. Shout out to AI. Got all of them right for me, except for the Jake Gensel one, thinking that he plays for Carolina still. So that's always tough to see. But other than that, a nice graphic here. And guys, what do all of these plays have in common? They are matchup based and they are plus money based. We sprinkle on some of these, we can try and make some money. And I like that one quite a bit. So We've got college hockey, we've got AHL hockey, and we've got Olympic hockey over the next 2 weeks. Don't worry, guys. There's lots of hockey to go on, and we'll have you covered here at WagerTalk with that. Still time to grab my Olympic package. And I'll tell you what, for those of you guys that grab my 5% play, I'll try and figure something out for you. You can email in to customer service at support at WagerTalk. Get them to hook you up with a good deal on my Olympic package and the second half of my NHL season. Look, nothing I can do. San Jose Sharks, Colorado Avalanche. I mean, so many chances last night, guys. A ton of you joined me. It pains me, and I'll tell you what, guys, like, Carm, I know you don't want me ranting, and
Andy Lang's going to jump in here pretty soon.
Nobody wants to hear me ranting, but I'm just going to say this, is that, we do these plays every single day, and a lot of you guys that watch, that appreciate it, and you guys that hop on the 5% plays, the toughest part about this business is that nobody cares about the 5 or 6 other games I talked about yesterday. There's a select people that just care about that 5%. So if you guys want to hop on board with my Olympic package, it's available right now at WagerTalk.
All right, Andrew, I'm going to blast through these ones because we got to go, or else Andy Lang is going to kill us. The Magnificent Seven. Here we go. Buffalo Sabres. They're 23-4-2 their last 29 games. I'm taking them to win tonight. Carolina. Rangers are 2-8 their last 10, and Panarin is gone. They're sellers. Washington, they were off a bad spot, and they catch the Preds in a back-to-back. Ottawa Senators. Sens playing better. I mentioned it earlier. New Jersey, payback for a 9-0 loss to the Islanders last time out. Tampa Bay, playing well. Panthers struggling. And LA Kings, better road record, 3-1 their last 4 in Vegas, including a 6-5 win this year. That is your Magnificent Seven. 2 plays up for me in the NHL tonight, is not ones that I've just mentioned. So head over there, pick those up. And then, of course, a soccer play for this afternoon, nice plus money play. Pick up the 1-day all access or one of the packages that I have up. For myself, Andrew McInnis, Don Buster, and Brian Leonard, this is Puck Time. We got to go. We've been long. Best of luck, guys. Hit that like button on your way out.